Let me just start the stream. All right, everyone. If you're listening to the recording of this, welcome in. This is workshop number 5 of the beginner DApp course. This is also the last workshop of the beginner DApp course. So we're on chapter 5, and we only have 2 days in chapter 5, except day 2 is pretty much just like deploying our adaptive cell. So it's going to be very quick. So I'm assuming this workshop should be honestly like less than 30 minutes or so, which is kind of sad. I like talking to all of you, but maybe we can use the extra time for any questions or helping anyone with some problems. But without further ado, let's get started. So Numini, you are not invisible. You are definitely not invisible, so don't worry about that. Hey Noah. Okay. So honestly, the deal with chapter 5 is that we're pretty much all done. In fact, if I go ahead and run my DApp here, and go to localhost, we're pretty much done. I don't know why mine is looking weird like that, but we're pretty much done. We've completed the application. We are able to log in. We've deployed a contract to testnet. We're able to run a script to read it. We're able to run a transaction to change it. The only thing we're going to do now is do some style improvements, and also just teach you some very basic, just cool things that you can do. So let's go ahead and do that. Now, I don't know why it's doing that. There's like a weird thing. Oh, it's because of this, I think. Okay, there we go. Well, now it's all bugging. Well, anyways, doesn't really matter. I'm just gonna try and help you through some of this stuff here. So, I think it's because the DApp that I'm running on my computer isn't like I haven't done any of the quests. So, yours should look different, but I'll just walk you through chapter 5 anyways, just to help you. So it says we're going to restructure our pages index.js file. So it literally says to replace the main tag and everything inside of it with this code. So let's just go ahead and do that. Yeah, go ahead and do that. Well, this seems kind of interesting. Also, I think there's a just for anyone that's wondering, you can look up if you press control. I'm on a Windows computer. If I press Control P, I'm pretty sure you can look up like format or no. Anyways, oh no, if you look up what is it, Command Shift P, yeah, and you type in format, um, yeah, there you go, and you click format, it'll like automatically format your lines for you. You can also look this up, like there's like a setting where you can like make it auto format every time you save, but anyways, just in case that's helpful for anybody. So here we go. So now I replaced my main tag with all that was inside, and it looks a little bit better, right? So yeah, pretty cool. Now I think the reason mine looks like this, by the way, is because I already have all the styles in here, but let's just do it anyway. So this says in styles global.css under the HTML body selector. So let's go to global CSS. Inside here, it wants us to put these two. Okay, let's go ahead and do that. Boom. You see any changes? Ooh, fancy. Okay, looking fancy. Right away, you'll notice it changes the background color of your DApp. Nice. Then at the bottom of the file, add this code. Okay, let's go ahead and add some button styling. And just to test you all, what does this do in globals.css? What is the styling in here doing? Ooh, looks like the button changes too. That's cool. So for anyone in chat, Jacob's learning with the front end. Yeah. For anyone in chat here, what are we doing by putting styles in globals.css? What is that affecting? I cannot wait to do his Svelte bootcamp. All pages, exactly, Amethyst. Good job. Yeah. Okay, cool. So now in styles/home.module.css, we're gonna replace your home.module.css file with this code. Okay. So we're just gonna straight up replace everything. See? Don't see much difference, but still pretty cool. And then what else do we have to do? Your DApp should now look like this. Oh, close enough. font's wrong, but I think it's because I'm on Windows, maybe? I don't know. Okay, but anyways, the main point of this was just to make your dApp look kind of cool. So, we achieved that, right? It looks kind of cool. Now, of course, you're completely allowed to change the style however you want. If you want to make it red, like Cheetah did, or if you want to make it literally anything, or if you want this box to be over here, this to be over here, this button to be down here, you're more than welcome to. The point of this bootcamp is not to make you a style wizard. It's mostly just to show you how some of these basic things are handled, and some almost give you like a pathway to learning CSS and HTML if you want to, but definitely by no means is that required. Okay. Um, so cool. So now this is where the actual cool stuff is. So, a lot of times, actually, let me show you this. So if we go to floats.city and I go to Blockdo here, connect, and let me just go to like an event, for example, and just put in like I'm just gonna like obviously make a error here and click a word. Look at the bottom left here. See how it says initializing, waiting for transaction approval. And I click approve, you'll see it like does a pending thing now and like the transaction state's going. So this is what I want to show you right now, how to figure out what stage of the transaction you're currently in. And also, if you're curious, you see it says executed. Now it should say sealed in a second, but obviously it's going to give us an error. See, so executed, sealed. Okay, now there's an error. Now, if you're curious, before I get into this, let me look up Jacob here, just in case. Jacob Tucker. Flow transaction state. Yeah, here we go. So again, probably the best looking developer in the world. But if you're curious, you can go to here and look up how to make a cool little transaction loading state. But I'm also going to show you that in today's bootcamp anyways. So what we can do is now, if we go back to our index.js file, you remember in the last workshop, we made it so that this run transaction component or this run transaction function, we made it at the end so that we get a transaction ID and then we do this line right here, await fcl.transaction, transaction ID.onceSealed. And what this is doing is this is waiting for the transaction to be sealed before going on to the next line. So this execute script does not run until this transaction is sealed. Now, sealed means the transaction has completely finished. Note, this does not mean it was successful. It just means it was completed. So once sealed means it's fully done, so that we know that after this line, the transaction is fully done. But we can actually track this a little bit better to log to our console every single time the transaction status is updated. So let's just follow some of these instructions. Make a new variable called transaction stat. Actually, I'm going to teach this a little bit differently. What I'm going to do instead is kind of work backwards here. I'm going to add this piece of code. So instead of having this here, or I'm going to actually comment both of these out. I'm gonna go down here. I'm gonna say FCL the transaction of the transaction ID, and I believe yeah, so .subscribe. So if you use a .subscribe function, you can actually console.log res. So what's gonna happen is it's gonna say, okay, we're gonna use the FCL.transaction function, pass in our transaction ID, and use the subscribe function. Now, the subscribe function is going to give us a response, and we're going to console.log that response and see how many times this gets logged. Let's go back to our dApp. Let's open up our console and clear everything. And let's type in hello, Ricardo. Run transaction. All right, let's click approve and watch the console here. Okay, so we just got a log right here. Seems empty. Okay, so nothing interesting. Oh, look at this one. Pending. Look at this one. Executed. And now it should be sealed. Now it's done, right? And we can actually look at each one of these. So this one right here has a status code of 0 and a status that's empty. This has a status of 1, status code 0, status code 0, status code 0. So you can see that what's happening is when it's pending, the status code is 1, executed, the status code is 3, and when it's sealed, the status is 4. So we can use these numbers to track what stage of the transaction we're currently in. Now, I want to show you what an error might look like. So let's try and type in 10 and show you what that looks like, because I think 10 is going to fail. But let's just try it anyway. So pending. Oh, it's just gonna change it to the string 10. Okay, well that doesn't really help. I'm trying to show you what like an error would look like, but I guess it's kind of hard to do that because I don't know how to make an error here. um, Actually, let me try and manually make an error. So let me try and type in like let me try and type in 10 here. See what happens. All right, let's try it. Oh, well, it can't export the transaction even starts. All right, well, I'm not exactly sure how to show you an error, but spoiler alert, all it does is it changes the status code to wow, why am I blanking on that? Do I describe it in here? Um, let's actually take a peek at the float component. Lib components common, I think. Yeah, where would it be? Let's try and look at touchstone. Sorry, I'm trying to show you guys what it would look like if there was an error in the transaction. So I'm trying to look at touchstone, for example. I don't know why I'm blanking on this, but transaction. Oh no, status code. Um, okay, yes. Sorry. Okay, this is a good example. So if we actually look at this is on Touchstone, by the way. So this is inside the deploy contract function. So this is what's getting run every time you deploy a contract. So you'll notice we're actually using the same exact function. So fcl.transaction, we're passing in a transaction ID, and we're calling subscribe. Now what's happening is every time an update to the transaction is happening, let me actually increase the font here. Every time an update to the transaction is happening, we're checking if res.status equals 4, which this means it's sealed, right? Remember we just saw in the console that if it's sealed, it has a status of 4. If it's sealed, then keep going. And if status code equals 0, so if a transaction is successful, meaning it has no errors, then the status code remains 0. However, if it's not, I believe the error would be 1. If status code equals 1, then there's an error. So what we're doing is we're saying, okay, if the res.status equals 4, which means it's sealed, and the status code is 0, which means it's successful, then log successfully deployed the contract and move on to the next step. So let's try that here. Let's go to here, and I believe this is where the part of the course comes in. So we want to make a new variable called transaction status. So let's go ahead and do that. Const transaction status, set transaction status equals use state. And what do we want to initialize it to? Default value as run transaction. Okay. So we'll put that there. I'm not going to show you how to do this because we've already covered it. Well, I just showed you. Then go down to the button tag that allows you to call run transaction when you click it. Instead of having run transaction as the text, make it to be transaction status instead. Okay. So down here where we say run transaction, we're instead going to change this to the transaction status variable. So you'll notice that on our front end, nothing's changing. It still says run transaction because that's the initial value of transaction status. Boom. Okay. Now, if we go to transaction loading state, we have this console.log res here. And so what we're going to do is we're going to say, okay, inside of our updates here, we're going to console.log the res. That's fine. We're going to say if res.status equals 0 or res.status equals 1, then set transaction status to pending. So let's just see what this does just in itself. So if we go to Emerald DApp, let's type in hello idiots. Do this, click run transaction, and watch what happens to the little text here. So when we click approve, the second that the status is 0 or 1, it should say pending here. It's taking a little bit. Hasn't it broken or something? Huh? That's weird. Oh, it literally just changed it. I refreshed the page. Oh my god. That was weird. It took a long time to pend. Okay, let's try it again. Click approve, and let's see if it logs. Here we go. Okay, see it says pending because the status is well, empty string. But I believe in JavaScript, empty string is the same as 0. Raven's tracking the progress of names here. Yeah, I slowly got more normal. I went from deranged to normal. Okay, well, I don't know what's going on, but the float testnet transactions are being really bizarre. And we can actually see that here. See, it skipped from pending to sealed. It didn't even go through executed. So I'm not really sure what's going on with testnet at the moment, but that's kind of funny. Also, yeah. So for the record, the status here is an empty string, but in JavaScript, if you say I'm pretty sure in JavaScript, if you say something like and then only put 2 equal signs, it actually considers 0 to be the same thing as empty string. But if we were to put equals equals equals, then this means they have to be exactly the same, so it wouldn't do that. But yeah, JavaScript is funny. My friends and I always meme like what would happen if you put equals 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 equals. Playground bugs is moved to testnet. It's never fixed. I know, sad, right? Sad. Okay, but anyways, if we keep going here, let's copy the rest of this, and we can see that if res.status equals 2, I guess I do put equals. All right. But if it equals 2, then it's being finalized. If it equals 3, it's being executed. And if it's 4, then it's sealed. And then if it is 4, why don't we also go in here and say if res.status code equals 0, then let's console.log success. All right, and let's run one more transaction. Refresh the page, and let's say yo, 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 what's up, Simip? Run transaction. Prove. All right. Pending. Right. Pending. Executed. Sealed. And it logs success. Yay! Claps all around. Woohoo! Woohoo! Yeah. Coding. We love coding. Woohoo! Man, we learned so much in the beginner DAP course, don't we? Such amazing instruction. Such amazing content. It's unbelievable. All right. Pretty cool. Also, I don't know if this bothers any of you, but it bothers me. When I hover over this button, it doesn't show up like a clicker. So let's actually change that. If we go to globals.css in this button, if we actually add pointer, oh no, I think it's cursor. Cursor, yeah. If we add cursor pointer here, then if when we hover over the button, it's now like a pointer. A lot better, right? A lot better. Um, in fact, why don't we? Should I change that? Yeah, let's change that. Let's edit this. Here we go. Updating the course in live time. All right. There we go. So now all of you noobs that copy my code will have this on your dApps. You're welcome. All right. That's it for day 1, and I believe day 2 is no more code changes. We're just deploying to Vercel. So, is this something that you guys think is worth covering here, or do you think it's you think you already kind of have it? I mean, it's literally just following these steps, but I'm very happy to walk through this if you guys want to. I think mine's actually already deployed. Is this mine? Oh yeah, this is mine. So this is what happened when I deployed it to Vercel. You can actually all check it out. Yeah, good point. I'll show it since it's being recorded. So, what is Vercel? Well, it's magic, true. It allows you. Okay, yeah. So I'll explain this in my own words. So basically, what Vercel will allow you to do is, you know how right now this is on localhost, and if I send you all this link, obviously nothing's going to happen, because this is being run on my local computer, so you can't view my local host. So what we want to do is we want to get it to a point where we actually give it a domain so that you can actually go to this link and view my dApp. So in order to do that, we should go to Vercel. I have to be careful about this, by the way, because I have there's like a lot of Emerald dApps like Touchstone and Float that have private information, so I can't really show you some of this stuff. I have to be careful here. Let me go to my personal account, and this won't matter. Okay, so this is my personal account. Um, so a couple things here. Um, don't ask what these two are. This is just from school, so we're not going to take a look at that because I'm not showing any of you the catastrophe that these two are. But I got good grades, so there you go. This is also a random dApp I made like years ago. I think when I was first starting Flow, and this is the one that I was just showing you. But anyways, let's go ahead and add. Actually, maybe I can just delete this one. It's kind of hard to show because I have to make a new Git repository for this. Okay, well, how do I show this to you guys? Um, okay, let's just type new project, right? Continue with GitHub. Let me sign in. Okay, so this is my repository here, and theoretically, I should have this like Emerald dApp repo that I made 14 days ago. So let's go to that. Let's go to my Emerald dApp repository right here. And this is my initial, if you go back to the first workshop, I believe, this is the repository I made, right? But I haven't synced any of my code. And actually, if we look at this, right, if we look at this code, this is all from 14 days ago. So my code is very old. And if you notice, remember I was telling you about this thing on the side? This is telling us, hey, Jacob, you have 12 changes you haven't pushed to your GitHub repository. So also one trick, by the way, is if you go to your little terminal and you let's just increase the font here. If you go to your terminal and you type in git remote -v, it actually gives you like what Git repository you're currently looking at. So this is saying I'm looking at Jacob Tucker Emerald dApp, which is literally this repository, right? So that's good. Um, so that's good. So I know I'm looking at the right repo. So what I can do now is I can do all this like git add dot complicated stuff, or I can go to my VS Code. I can click this add button to add all these changes and type in completed dApp. Commit it, press commit, then click these three dots and click push. And if I do that, we'll go back to our repository, and if we refresh the page, it says, look at this. So completed dApp, and now all these changes are from right now, right? We just made these changes. So it's pretty cool. So yeah, really cool. Right? Nice. So It says important number 1, delete the eslint.rc.json file. So let's go ahead and delete that. Let's delete our JSON file. And let's make sure to push this change. Deleted file. Okay, so we just deleted that file. Important number 2, before you go on, make sure you have pushed your latest code. We did that. Perfect. So now let's go to Vercel and create an account. Then go to your profile screen that looks like this. We already did that, right? I believe we're currently here. Pretty cool. Find the repository that says beginner emerald dApp and press import. Okay, well mine's this one, right? Just emerald dApp. Let's refresh the page. Mine's just emerald dApp. So if I click import, all right, cool. Let's keep going and then press deploy. Okay, so it looks like it's as simple as that. Let's press deploy. All right, now it looks like it's deploying. And wait a few minutes and make sure there are no errors. If there are, reach out to us in the Emerald City Discord. I should change that to the Emerald Academy Discord. Then you should be able to go to your deployed project on Vercel and find the URL where your project is deployed. And that's it. Okay, let's try it. Let's see. But while this is happening, let me also just edit this because I noticed a mistake. So it's not the Emerald City Discord anymore. It's the Emerald Academy Discord. Haha. Made a new Discord. All right, let's go ahead and put that right here. All right, is it done deploying? Up. I think it's done deploying. Woo! So if I click on this, wow. There it is. Here, you can all check it out. By the way, you know what's kind of funny? The reason it gave me this URL, Emerald dApp 3, is because some of you took the other ones. Like some of you already took Emerald dApp 1 and 2. Oh yeah, no, Smip, GitHub Desktop is very useful. So if you find that useful, I would definitely use that. Yeah. So I think we're done with the course, everybody. Yeah. Now we could buy a domain name. True. So if anyone's curious, you can go to your dashboard here, and if you actually click on settings and go to environment variables, this is where you can add all your environment variables. So if you don't know what this is like if you have a a lot of times people have like a secret like .env file, and they'll have like private key equals like this. If you've done our challenges, so if you've done any of our challenges on Emerald Academy, so like the non-fungible token one, for example, I would oh yeah, I'm glad I mentioned this, by the way. If any of you, now that you've finished the course, I would really recommend doing our challenges because these are things you'll understand now that you've done the dApp course. So this is a great next step. If you haven't done these already, do the challenges on our website. Um, but anyways, the point was that like you'll have like an env file with a private key, and this works locally, but if you're deploying to Vercel, you'll have to configure your environment variables right here. So that's just a little note if you do the challenges. But yeah, you should definitely check that out because it's a great next step for you. Yep. Okay. And we have actually quite a few challenges here, and there's more coming soon, thanks to Filecoin. Thanks, Filecoin. Oh, you did, Ricardo? Nice. That must have been like a good like segue for you. I think you probably already understood it a lot. Yeah. Um, so wow, I'm kind of sad that we're done because I've been looking forward to teaching all you Cadence Bootcamp people the dApp stuff, but now that we're here, it's like, uh-oh. So I guess while I have all of you here, what is the next thing you guys want to learn? Is it you know, an advanced cadence course? Is it a DAP course in Svelte? Like, what is it that all of you are interested in? Advanced cadence, really? Okay. Yeah. Front end? Yeah, you do not want me teaching front end, trust me. I don't know how to do that. If you're curious, this was me. So this I did this. It looks okay. Probably looks terrible though. I don't know. Like I did all this, but this was not me, and this is sick. I love this. Um, all right, back to the float. Beginner cadence, yeah, definitely do that. All right. Oh, that's the wrong one. Oops. Can anyone hear my dog just like absolutely snoring in the background? Soulbound, not claimable. Let's try this again, see if it gives it to Amethyst this time. Time limit, okay. Did I do this right? Our fifth and last beginner DAP bootcamp week. Okay. Also, if you're listening to the YouTube recording, thanks so much for tuning in. That's all we have for you.